Hey friends, DeMaiste here. Dragon's Dogma had a special place in my heart, and so when I heard there was a Dragon's Dogma 2 on release, I was overjoyed. Deciding that I should brush up on my Dragon's Dogma knowledge, I set about playing the original game. Because luckily, there's only the original game, right? It's not like there's 4 animated comics, a prologue novel, an MMO, or a Netflix original series. Fortunately, Dragon's Dogma 2 isn't set in the Duchy of Grancis, because while I'm sure we all remember the Kingdom of Hearthstone or the neighboring duchies of Valdoa or Melwa, there are some out there who might claim that perhaps the narrative layer of the game left something to be desired. And while I can't disagree on the moment-to-moment, the side quests, the NPC dialogue or cutscenes, I can disagree because the larger narrative is so compelling that I can't imagine the DNA of that original larger plot won't make it into Dragon's Dogma 2. So, spoilers for Dragon's Dogma and its associated properties. I think the best place to start for this endeavor would be the Dragon's Dogma. Because while it's a title drop in the form of a sword, no one goes out and says, "Horus Lupercal, you truly are the Dragon's Dogma." That restraint, I think, speaks a lot to the game's faith in its audience. Dogma is defined as a set of principles that are presented as incontrovertible truth by an authority, and there's so much to that. Whether it's the dragon, Grigori's dogma, or the seneschal who tests humanity with the dragons and therefore that's the dragon's dogma, is unclear. But what is less unclear is that the dragon's dogma is directly related to the endless chain, and if this feels pretty oblique and difficult to follow, I promise we're getting to it. So, the world of Dragon's Dogma is filled with noble kingdoms and royal knights, the sort of fantasy main fare we've come to know and love. There are characters who are meant to embody the auxiliary settings as well as serve as representatives of humanity's foibles. Sir Julian of Valdoa, Envy, Sir Mercedes of Hearthstone, Pride, Lady Aelinor of Melwa, Lust. So why are these characters and more in Grancis? It's because the dragon has been seen and humanity has invoked defensive pacts to request the aid of their neighbors to band together and fight against the dragon. So, the great dragon comes and attacks your fishing village. You, in a desperate bid of humanity's inclination to survive, pick up a garbage sword and attack the dragon. Obviously, this doesn't do anything. But by virtue of being the only person with a spine willing to fight back, the great dragon chooses you. Choosing you looks a lot like picking you up and ripping the heart out of your chest, which sounds awful, but actually means you get to live forever as long as the dragon isn't dead. And it turns out it's your job to kill the dragon because he ripped your heart out? Unclear. There's a lot of conversations about prophecy and the gods, but long story short, pick up your weapon and get cracking, hero. And you do. You crack heads, you crack bones, you crack open doors to long-forgotten tombs. You crack open the sky so that lightning comes down and strikes your enemies. You keep cracking until you eventually meet the dragon again, and this time you crack the dragon open like a can of soda, and this is where the game gets near automata levels of unhinged. It turns out, sometimes, Arisen like yourself just don't fight the dragon. The Great Dragon offers an Arisen an out, and they take it. They just say, you know what, I don't want to fight a dragon and possibly die, and in so doing, they get to live forever because the dragon still has their heart? And it turns out a lot of Arisen before you did that. They just decided they didn't want to fight a dragon, and when the dragon offered them an out, they took it. So, that's weird, but you're playing a video game where you crack on, you decide to kill the dragon anyways. Congratulations! You're now in the post-game where there are maybe hundreds of dragons everywhere attacking everyone and everything, and people are blaming you, hero. How could you let this happen? After a fairly convoluted series of events, you're falling into basically hell. It's called the Everfall. It's not really hell, but sort of this Yggdrasil, Irminsul, World Tree-esque portal that combines multiple parallel worlds. I wish I had more to tell you on the Everfall, but honestly, that's about as much as we know. So you fight your way through the Everfall, and surprise! There's God! He's called the Maker by the people of Grancis, and he tells you his name is the Seneschal, but none of that matters because, surprise, you're fighting him now. And you find out that if you don't kill him and become the next god, he's going to turn you into a dragon and send you back down to Grancis, where you'll presumably continue the cycle of picking new Arisens who fight dragons and then maybe gods. And this implies not only that all the other dragons were Arisens, but are sort of like angel demigod things. Anyways, you kill God and become God, and then instead of choosing to continue to perpetuate the cycle, the endless chain, you end it by using the Godsbane weapon on yourself, which is really bleak, but it's fine because you've got a body double in the form of your pawn who just lives out the rest of their lives as you, maybe? There's this whole thing about the investiture of spirit into pawns, and also there's a small mountain of other things about pawns that we haven't gotten into, but I'm already over time. So then, What does it mean that there's a Dragon's Dogma 2? Will there be the Everfall that connects it to the worlds we once were at? Do we have to deal with another Seneschal with the same bleak and nihilistic true ending? Unclear. But what is clear, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is that the Dragon's Dogma is about the will and courage to fight on, to overcome impossible obstacles, to choose to fight and fight again. If you like this video, good news! There's a button which you can press to tell me more that you did. I've cut a lot of stuff out, both for the algorithm as well as getting this out ASAP, but if enough people like it, who knows? Maybe we'll make more lore videos on Dragon's Dogma. Ta-ta for now!